The panthers of the dog world, the Canis Panther. A successful hybrid that is hardly known in Europe, but who are becoming increasingly popular in America. Can hybrid formed by mixing several breeds be an effective working dog? How did Canis Panther develop, and for what purpose did its creators create it? Hybrids from the 70s. In the world and history of dogs, until the last decades of the 19th century, we could not actually talk about dog breeds, but rather about types of working dogs selected for different tasks. Most of today's known dog breeds were standardized and created around the turn of the century within the emerging breed clubs and associations. In America, in the 1970s, a partially opposite process began, when mixing existing breeds was used to create hybrids that differed in some respects and had different characteristics than registered dog breeds. Many of these experiments were aimed at improving marketability, and, in many cases, the goal was to create fashion by mixing two popular breeds, like Labradoodles, Golden Doodles, Golgadors, Jugs, and so on. There were also experiments where increasing working capacity and efficiency was the primary consideration, often as a reaction to the deterioration of the working abilities and instincts of traditional types of working dogs. The Chicago Panther. In 1971, in Chicago, where public safety was already not very good, an enthusiastic team engaged in guard protection and bodyguard dog training decided to experiment with the creation of the most effective breed of bodyguard dog based on their previous experience. The main motivation for them was that they had to bring German working dogs from overseas to America, which was extremely expensive in those decades. Moreover, some of the arriving dogs, German Shepherds, Rottweilers, and Dobermans, did not work as expected even then, and serious inherited health problems appeared more and more often in these dogs. The goal was to create a large but athletic and explosive dog type with outstanding intelligence, trainability, and protective instincts, which can be made into a working dog with equal to or more abilities than long-established breeds without much effort. Unlike the producers of designer hybrids, who usually tried to achieve success by combining two popular breeds, these Chicago experts crossed four working dog breeds: American Staffordshire Terriers, Dobermans, Black Labradors, and Black Great Danes. The end result was a dog with an average height at withers of 62 to 78 centimeters, weighing 40 to 60 kilograms, mostly black in color, though blue, gray, and brown coat colors can occur rarely, with excellent abilities and rather distrustful and aggressive towards strangers. Due to their spectacularly springy and dynamic movements and builds similar to black panthers, this type has been colloquially called the Canis Panther, or Panther dog, which, although not recognized as an independent breed by any international canine association, is still growing in popularity among fans and trainers of incorruptible guard breeds. By the way, the name is understandable, as under the short black fur of the Canis Panthers, spectacular muscles move plastically. Their appearance is alarming for most people, since a person who is not necessarily familiar with dogs sees them as an Amstaff-headed, bodybuilder Doberman with the muscles of a Great Dane, who are also lightning fast despite their size. What characterizes the Canis Panther? According to owners, breeders, and trainers, Canis Panther is one of those rare hybrids where the experiment and efforts have been successful. This type of dog have mainly positive qualities. They are bred according to independent bloodlines, but at the same time, they have preserved much of the qualities of their ancestors. Almost all descriptions mention the intelligence and trainability inherited from Labradors, the guarding, protective, and working skills of the Dobermans, the love of owners and families of the Great Danes, but also the dynamism and fighting abilities of the Amstaffs. In addition, of course, they are often mentioned for their terrier stubbornness and waywardness, inherited from Amstaff, the restraint and aggressiveness of Dobermans towards strangers, but also the enormous exercise needs of working line Labradors. Crossbreeding has also proved successful in the sense that Canis Panthers live longer than the average of such large dogs. Their lifespan often reaches 12 years, and they are not characterized by hereditary diseases of host breeds, like VUD, DCM and dysplasia. Who are they recommended for? There is complete agreement among connoisseurs and experts of the Canis Panther that the choice of this type should be carefully considered even by an owner who has experience with other large-sized and tough breeds. They are usually recommended for people who have a lot of time and lead a particularly athletic, very active life, since moving a Doberman-like dog weighing almost 60 kilograms properly is not an average task. This type is also not recommended for those who have a high number of guests, as the Canis Panther simply does not like strangers. At the same time, it is not recommended for families with small children, as unintentional accidents are almost coded due to the raging energies and huge muscle mass of them. However, for those whose lifestyle, previous experiences and circumstances allow to live together with a Canis Panther, perhaps they can become one of the best bodyguard dogs.